With the success of Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated behind us, what would we like to see for a possible Battle for Bikini Bottom 2? I discuss my own ideas right now. Hello there beautiful human, my name is RidersDX and welcome to my channel where today we've got a very special topic where we're going to be talking about the future of SpongeBob SquarePants video games, and more specifically, if we ever were to get a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. As you all know, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is a pretty iconic game within the franchise at this point, even sprouting out its own remake which came out the past year, and just man, Battle for Bikini Bottom has become such a household name at this point. It really is amazing just to see how many people now know of this game and how many people would love to see something similar to it come out in the near future. And so I'm taking the time today to talk about 10 ideas I would love to see implemented into a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. And so we're gonna go through the list, but definitely let me know your thoughts in the comment section below in terms of what you would like to see in a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2 and whether or not you think it's possible that we may actually see it. I think given the success of Battle for Bikini Bottom and the fact that Purple Lamp Studios is officially owned by THQ Nordic, the chances are pretty high in terms of seeing a game that's similar in vein to Battle for Bikini Bottom. It might not be an actual sequel, but I do think that it's very likely that we're going to see something similar to Battle for Bikini Bottom that we might as well call a sequel. And so here's my list of 10 things I would love to see in Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. Number 1, and this is one of the most obvious things that anyone could add, but it is more playable characters, specifically Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton. I mean, if Robotic Revenge and Hero Pants was able to include them, then Battle for Bikini Bottom 2 definitely should as well. The fact that they were already playable in Horde mode and Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated just kind of tells you that, like, hey, you already got all these models and you already got moves for them, you might as well just implement them into the main campaign. I mean, I guess technically Plankton and Rehydrated is Robot Plankton, but I mean, if we were going to play Plankton, he probably needs to be in a robot anyway, and so it probably doesn't need to be that different. But I think this would be a really great opportunity to include even more playable characters beyond SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, and giving us even more ways to play the game. I think Battle for Bikini Bottom did such a good job of handling multiple characters because SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy all had a similar feel to them, but they each had their own special abilities that let them have their own impact on each level. And I think Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton could have the same things. Like Squidward could use the power of music, for instance, to get to some different places. Mr. Krabs is very greedy and he has claws, and so I'm sure they could come up with some really good stuff for him too. And of course, Plankton is a genius. Maybe not in terms of the practical sense, but a genius in terms of his inventions and stuff. So he certainly could have a bunch of cool gadgets and stuff to play with and to make the gameplay a little bit more interesting. Even if they just added like one more playable character, I think it'd be great, because maybe there is some fear in adding too many characters and having the focus diverge a little bit too much, but I definitely think you need to go beyond the typical trio of SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy in the next game. At number 2, I would love to see a co-op feature implemented into the main campaign. So this is actually something that a lot of people were hoping to see in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, especially when we first heard the news that there was going to be co-op multiplayer. They didn't really explain what the co-op multiplayer was actually going to look like, so a lot of people actually assumed that the co-op multiplayer would be within the main campaign itself, and that wasn't the case, unfortunately. However, we've seen some mods actually of them having a second player in Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, and I think this is a really interesting idea to have a second playable character in the main campaign. You know, maybe it doesn't have to be to this extent of having another character, but at least having some kind of multiplayer function would be a great idea, maybe akin to the Super Mario Galaxy games. Or you can have an actual character, because that would be really cool. So maybe you can alter the levels a bit if you have two characters on screen, such as having more enemies or just some more obstacles to go through. Or you could even make it an integral part of the campaign where you're controlling multiple characters at the same time. That certainly would be a very interesting way to go with a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2, but definitely would make it easier to implement more characters such as Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and Plankton. Maybe not the method that Robotic Revenge and Hero Pants use, but something that's even cooler. So yeah, could be a really cool idea. At number 3, this is a must-have for even like the next SpongeBob game in general, let alone Battle for Bikini Bottom 2, but I want to see some new locations get put into this game. And so an obvious one I can think of right now is Glove World. That was something that should have been in the original Battle for Bikini Bottom but wasn't, so that would be great to have as a separate level. I'd also love to go to Tentacle Acres or maybe Karate Island or just some other different places that are really out there. I mean, sure, Battle for Bikini Bottom did a really good job of representing all the main places in than Bikini Bottom, but Bikini Bottom can be such an expansive place if you really let it be. And so I would love to see them not only revisit older places and make them bigger, you know, such as like SpongeBob's Dream, for instance. Maybe we can visit some extra dreams within SpongeBob's Dream this time, such as Plankton, Pearl, Mrs. Puff, etc, etc. Or we can have some brand new places never before seen in a SpongeBob game, like Glove World and Tentacle Acres. And so lots of different possibilities. Overall, just give us some more places to go to. At number 4, beyond multiple playable characters, I also just want to see more characters make cameos overall. I mean, someone that a lot of people wanted to see in Rehydrated was Pearl. That would have been a great character to see. I'd also love to see Bubble Bass, Kevin, the My Leg guy, and even Karen, because surprise surprise, Karen the computer wife was surprisingly not in Battle of Bikini Bottom, even though she had many opportunities to appear in the game. And so SpongeBob has a great cast of characters, so it'd be great to just have them pop in whenever they could, just like you did with the characters in the original game. Or you can even have them give the characters side quests or side missions, maybe not integral to the main story, but giving you some extra stuff to do while inserting a nice cameo there at the same time. At number 5, I want to see an epic story. And you know, I don't mean epic in terms of making it serious and dark per se, but maybe just let it have a bigger sense of adventure, a bigger scope. You know, a good example I want to refer to is the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, or maybe the second SpongeBob movie. Those movies felt epic, but at the same time still very true to the nature of SpongeBob, in the fact that they were both very funny and lighthearted as well. My friend Dave Ace actually has a great idea for a plot for the second game involving Robot Plankton returning and basically wrecking havoc, and so I'll leave a link to his video over here because I tried coming up with an idea just as good as that one and I just couldn't, and so I'd rather you just watch his video and take a listen to what he thinks. But I think overall having a story that's big in scope and has a great sense of adventure would make Battle of Bikini Bottom 2 an instant classic. At number 6, I would love to see difficulty settings implemented into the game. Now, I know difficulty settings in platformers is a bit of a strange thing, but I think even just having minor adjustments to make the game more challenging for more veteran players, such as more enemy placements, lower health, or even live system, could go a long way in terms of customizing the experience for the player according to where they feel they're best at. This ensures more accessibility for both newer and older fans as well of video games and SpongeBob, and so I definitely think it couldn't hurt. I think it's a little bit tougher to implement into a platformer than say like a fighting game because you have to change so many more things in terms of making difficulty settings, but I think it's very well worth it and would definitely make SpongeBob Battle of Bikini Bottom 2 a standard in terms of how you should handle accessibility with platformers. At number 7, I want to see tons of extra content unlockable in this game. One of my favorite things about the movie game, for instance, is how this whole treasure chest system lets you unlock costumes, movie clips, concept art, etc as you progress through the game. You know, not only does it give you more incentive to keep playing and exploring the worlds, but it also gives you more stuff to look at, and it just makes the game feel much more satisfying to play through overall and unlocks a great benefit in terms of increasing the game's replayability. But costumes, man, costumes are such an integral thing that I really want to see in Battle of Bikini Bottom 2. It really is something that should have been incorporated into Rehydrated. I mean, even the movie game and Truth or Square was able to incorporate costumes, so it's a shame that Rehydrated didn't do any costumes, because SpongeBob is especially a very appealing franchise when it comes to having costumes. I mean, SpongeBob dresses up all the time in the original show, and so it's only natural. And so I would love to see more costumes and more outfits for all the characters in the Battle of Bikini Bottom 2. And number 8, this might be more of a controversial thing. I know a lot of people don't think this is a great idea, but I'd actually love to see them try to implement some speedrunning tactics into this game. So what if you had things like a cruise bubble as an actual feature that was unlockable and can be toggled on and off in the game? And I do think toggling is a very important thing to implement if they were to do this, because I mean, not everyone wants to play with speedrunning tactics, and it may kind of alter the flow of the platform a little bit too much from what they were trying to go for. And so if you can make it an on and off switch in the menu and make it unlockable, then I think that'd be the best way to please all people. I also think it should be one of the last things you unlock in a game, you know, kind of like how you unlock Supersonic in a Sonic game, something that you're rewarded for in the end for all your hard work. But this can ultimately help to foster a great speedrunning community for this game, because if you actually have speedrunning tactics implemented into the game as actual features and let speedrunners play with it to no end, then I really think that only serves to make the game more popular. I know it's not really something that a lot of developers do at this point, but I think Battle of Bikini Bottom is such a great title to start that with, because obviously speedrunning is the main reason Battle of Bikini Bottom is so popular nowadays. It's only natural for a sequel to try to tap into that energy and make it just as successful in that medium. And number 9, I'd love to see appearances and cameos from other Nicktoons, and so I don't really think they have to incorporate this into the main story. I really think these could be just like offbeat like side missions that you can do that don't really impact the story, just so you don't have to worry about that. But I think this would be really important because it could help to foster a Nickelodeon gaming presence and perhaps help these Nicktoons launch their own games in the future, because by having these Nicktoons appear in these games, you could have some more interest in them, and that can overall increase the popularity of all Nickelodeon franchises. I mean, that's why they splattered SpongeBob on the front of all the Nicktoons games, because that was the only way to get people to actually pay attention to some of the other franchises that Nickelodeon was housing. And so why not do that again and let us see some great cameos from some classic Nicktoons? I would love to see that. And finally, at number 10, this is such a high wish, and I really doubt this would ever happen with SpongeBob game, and I really won't be upset if it never does, but I would be so ecstatic if it did. But make the game a fully connected open world, connected akin to Breath of the Wild. And so I mean it, like a completely open world game, because I think what Battle for Bikini Bottom did such a good job with was making it seem like an open world, even though it technically wasn't. You were able to see locations of different places beyond you in each level, and I think if you actually just went the entire way and just made everything connected, then it would just be such a great and epic SpongeBob game. Imagine being able to fully explore Bikini Bottom in this way. Like, it's such a big dream and probably too much for a sequel to encompass. It probably should be its own game, but man, if you made Battle for Bikini Bottom like completely open world, imagine how amazing that would have been. It just would have been such a great treat and would have been a really great way to see just how connected Bikini Bottom is as a world. But yeah, it's a pie in the sky dream, probably will never happen, but then again, I never thought we'd get a game as great as Spider-Man PS4, so you never know, honestly. But okay, those are all my thoughts in terms of what I love to see in a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. Lots of big ideas that I'm pretty sure aren't going to happen. So overall, if they just make a really great game akin to Battle for Bikini Bottom in a sequel, then I'll be happy, honestly. Just giving me more of the same stuff and maybe some new features here and there. But if they really want to go all out, then I hope they incorporate a bunch of these ideas, because man, Battle for Bikini Bottom 2 could be such an amazing game and really elevate the SpongeBob gaming franchise name. But I don't know, this is just me dreaming big. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear what are some of your ideas and what are some things you want to see in a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. But alright y'all, thank you so much folks, I really appreciate it. This is Riders, riding out. Thank you so much for watching this video. Special shout out to the Nerd Corner, Killer Lemurs, Team Ride with Sign Gamers, Johnny Hinton Ortiz, Timebender, Jeremy Games, Amarillo66, Trash Q, Abraham Muter, and Mass Muter. These are my patrons/YouTube members. If you'd like to become a patron or YouTube member and get access to a whole bunch of different perks, then please check out the links in the description box below. But alright, this is Riders, riding out.